The other big issue in South Asia is that we seem to have a phenomenon of wasting which is very early, which is even notable in children below 6 months. And this, we believe, is quite tied to the issue of maternal food insecurity.
This is an ENN podcast for the Field Exchange 63 Child Wasting in South Asia Special Edition.
I'm Zulfi Bhutta. I'm the Chair in Global Child Health and Policy here at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto. And I'm also the founding director of the Institute for Global Health and Development across Aga Khan University campuses in Asia and Africa. We are all extremely concerned about issues of childhood malnutrition, particularly wasting, not just because it seems to be something at great risk of exacerbation due to the COVID crisis that's upon us, but also because wasting is one of those issues that has been a persistent challenge in many parts of the world. In some parts, because of the relationship that wasting has with acute malnutrition, with famines, with population displacement and conflict. But in other places, such as in South Asia, where I come from, this is just endemic. This is there, and it does not seem to have the same relationship as stunting does. So what could potentially cause wasting in children? The most obvious cause could be food insecurity, induced in many instances by just rampant poverty. A large proportion of the population live below the poverty line. You can well imagine how children, particularly young children under 36 months of age, could be food insecure because they don't have access to the right kinds of diets, or sometimes breastfed and are not given appropriate complementary foods. And in other instances, as they grow a bit older, they may only have one meal a day. Therefore, it's not very surprising that you see the issue of low weight per height for many of these children, which, in spite of the fact that many stunting is still a rampant problem. The other big issue in South Asia is that we seem to have a phenomenon of wasting which is very early, which is even notable in children below 6 months of age. And this, we believe, is quite tied to the issue of maternal food insecurity. And this becomes very challenging because you really do not have any strategies for impacting child growth other than breastfeeding in the first 6 months. And therefore, every effort should be made in terms of tying in our interventions to improvements in maternal nutrition, and which means frequently, just given the proportion of the young girls who become pregnant, that we were talking about pre-pregnancy, adolescent interventions, keeping girls in school and improving their health and nutrition, as an essential part of the vicious cycle that gets put in place because of those underlying determinants. It's a health challenge, but it's also an ethical challenge for the rest of the world. And it's because in this day and age, we have the technology and solutions to be able to do something very effectively. Nowhere is this more evident as during the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, where it is now estimated that because of the people who've been pushed into poverty, because of the food insecurity in many places, we could very well have close to around 20% of children who become wasted. And these in turn contribute to a pretty significant chunk of child mortality by these models that have looked at this. I think we can address this, and we can address this effectively by targeting and by ensuring that our interventions reach the most vulnerable populations, that they focus on improving maternal health and nutrition in pregnancy, and that they focus on protecting breastfeeding and therefore reducing the burden of early morbidity, diarrheal diseases that exacerbate undernutrition in children, both in the short term and in the medium to long term. And by doing so, we could also make what is currently the only solution which we have, which is treatment, a thing of the past. I don't think we should be just treating wasted children. Of course we should, as they present to us, but we should focus a lot more attention on the prevention of wasting, and particularly the subset of children who are both stunted and wasted.
Read the Child Wasting in South Asia Special Edition Field Exchange to find out more. Visit ennonline.net/FEX.